Alright, welcome back to Charts with Cart. First thing as always, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't risk more than you can afford to lose, and I don't give financial advice. Now that being said, let's jump right into the SPX and S&P 500 index. You can clearly see that on Thursday we closed below this wedge pattern here that we've been talking about for the last few weeks. And then Friday we confirmed a close below here. So now at minimum, we can expect a drop to here, which would be the 2022 highs. The initial move in the S&P 500, we might continue to consolidate under this wedge for a little while, but I think in the next couple of weeks, for sure the first move down will probably take us to around 4,800. And if we break this support, which who knows how strong it'll be, I'm expecting more than likely we retest this level here at 4,600. So this is a good level to watch. Okay, US oil, it's actually looking bullish in the very short term here. We had this resistance line up here, this horizontal resistance that we were flagging above here, and then we broke up, confirmed above, and then printed this candle on Friday. There's a chance we come back down to test this level as support, but I think there's a 70-80% chance that we're heading into this pocket up here. Now, I think this $85 mark will present an exceptional short opportunity on US oil. This is because there's a bunch of factors running into this level. And we also have a bear flag formation heading into that level potentially. But if you zoom out, this pivot here, connect these pivots in here is going to provide resistance. Not only that, but you see this channel here. That top of the channel is right at $85, plus this much more macro trend line. I don't know if macro is the right word, but it stems from 2022, and we connected 3 highs already through here. That's all at $85, plus to add another factor, from the low, or from the high to the low, in this move, it's also right in the golden pocket. So I think $85 will be a tremendous short opportunity on oil. As soon as you see momentum start to go to the downside on crude oil, that's where I'm heading into a short, and I'd assume it's going to be at around $85. Okay, gold is a very interesting chart right now. You can see we had this nice run up, sideways consolidation, bull flag. Now I think the next move on gold is likely another move up towards this trend line here, and this would be at around 2250. 2250 is my next move on gold if we continue to hold the top of the channel here as support. And it's been good resistance in the past, so it's likely that we're holding it as support now. So as long as we don't fall through, we're heading to 2250. If we do fall through, we're heading to 2070. Right now I'm considering a long at this level here. I'm going to watch what happens on Monday into this level up here, and then I'd consider a short up here heading back down to 2070. As you can see, we're in this small channel in a much bigger channel up here. That's where we get the 2250 target from, this channel that stems from here and here. And then eventually, I think there's a pullback on gold that retests this level here, the triple top level as support eventually, 2070. All right, palladium, you can see this horizontal line here on the screen. It has been an epic resistance. It's been an epic support line in the past, and we've actually recently seen about a 30% bounce off this. Now we're also stuck in this falling wedge pattern. It's a bullish reversal pattern. So watch out for palladium, because eventually I think this does break out up and out of this channel, and I think $1,800 will be your target on palladium once it breaks up out of this falling wedge. We're starting to see bullish divergence on palladium's RSI, so we can tell it's oversold. Now, let's take a fib retracement. I marked 1800 as maybe potentially the next resistance, and yep, the 0.382 is right there. So I'd expect a run up to 1800 once palladium can start to break out of this falling wedge and hold it as support. Now, I am not saying we're going straight up to 1800. I actually think we might consolidate here and on top here. It might still be a while, but I think in 2024, Palladium does have $1,800 potential. All right, Tesla time. Tesla had bearish momentum come back into the weekly stochastic RSI, and we've seen falling price action. Now, look at this support here and here and here. We've fallen through it, and we confirmed below that line. Now, we did close above the body of this candle, but we did spend the whole day down here. So watch how we react on Monday in Tesla, because we could reclaim it, but the odds are right now in favor of a down move. We also have this pivot here, so keep in mind we did have a lot of buying pressure off this pivot here at 150, but I think the high probability scenario in Tesla is that we're actually going down to probably closer to 140 at this point. Fill in this gap fill here that has not been completely filled in. And coincidingly, we have these two trend lines that connects through the pivots here, and this more major trend line. Oh, I should have showed you on the weekly chart, but you can see we connect the lows from 2020, connect these lows, we can connect those, and those two trend lines combine at around 138, 140. This is where the chart really is make or break, because if you fall below here, you're heading down to here pretty quickly, and that would be $100. So this is where I think Tesla could see a major bounce. All right, MFC, major warning signs, because we broke south of this channel. We came back and we were kind of flagging below it, consolidating below this channel here, and we just printed a candle on Friday with a larger upper wick, virtually no body, and virtually no lower wick. A gravestone candle at resistance. This is not a good sign. Plus, you have bearish momentum on the weekly stochastic RSI. I think trouble is brewing in this chart, and I think a logical pullback that we've talked about is still at this $27, $28 level. Okay, NVEI's daily chart here. I talked about slamming into this support last week, although it was support. I talked about the force we came down into this level with. I said the harder you come back down into it, the more chance you have of breaking it. And it looks like we've closed right at or below on the Thursday here. And on the Friday, we definitely closed below. So it's actually increasing the chances of a push down to this first level, which coincides with the golden pocket of this move up. And this level would be at around $26. Now you break this, you could go to the 7-8 retracement, which would be at around $22, and you'd fill in this gap fill. But keep in the bigger picture here on NVEI, you're still above this large falling wedge we were talking about that you can see on the weekly chart. So yeah, we're still above this falling wedge. However, on the stochastic RSI, the weekly stochastic RSI, bearish momentum. So look for an entry point somewhere on top of this support down here, and then go long off that. FM, this was one I was very bearish on in 2023. As you can see, this rising wedge pattern here went down, fell out of it, went to retest it. It was at resistance right here. We had good earnings actually, but we still collapsed. We went from 32 to as low as even $9 or $10. So yeah, it was a huge drop. And now we've been making another rising wedge down here, bear flag. So yeah, things are not looking too good. However, we have momentum. We have momentum on our side here. We're in a bearish formation here. However, it looks like we could be breaking above here. And if we do see a close and confirm above this level, we got the close. Let's see if we confirm on Monday. Then our next push up is to 18. However, if we start heading down, you can expect to hit the bottom of this trend line very quickly, and that would be closer to $12. Okay, Canadian National Railways, I would not be too overly convinced over this price action here. I'll show you why in a second. You can also see there's bearish momentum on the stochastic RSI. Now look at this for a second. You have a shoulder here, a head here, and a shoulder here. This shoulder was actually made under this key trend line that supported us on multiple occasions here. We made it under, so it's now resistance. So now you've created a head and shoulders pattern. You take the top of this here and the bottom of the neckline, and look, you get a price target of right here, which is $164-ish, which has actually been a level we've bounced off previously. So although I do think that we could go to 161, 164 would still be a great opportunity here on the chart for CNR. Keeping with the theme of the head and shoulders now, let's turn our attention to Bitcoin USD. You can see on the RSI, we actually made a head and shoulders pattern here, and it looks like we've probably hit the technical target of this head and shoulders pattern. So maybe we do see a little more upside on the RSI first. Who knows? However, the real concern here is not with the RSI, it's with the price action itself. It's looking pretty bearish. We're actually seeing a pretty impulsive move to the downside at a level that some people would probably consider this a triple top. Weekly chart on Bitcoin, you can see that this top here, 65,000, then we made a top at 69,000. This was considered a double top. Could this be considered a triple top now that we headed to like 73,000? Honestly, maybe. So now let's see where we could be headed. If you connect the high right here on the weekly chart, the high in 2019, with the lows of this bull market, you can see here that before we had this massive push up to break the all-time high, we had about a week where we consolidated here in a bull flag. This is showing me that this is a line that, yeah, it's a respectable line. So I think the minimum pullback once we do start pulling back on Bitcoin will be at around 55, 56,000. And I think an even better pullback, a more healthy long-term pullback would be to 49,000 on Bitcoin. Now, just because Bitcoin is pulling back doesn't mean the whole crypto market has to pull back. Avalanche here. This is actually showing us bullish momentum on the weekly stochastic RSI. Is it to play out? Well, who knows? But right now, if you connect this trend line here, through the lows here, through these lows, you actually resisted it here. We broke it, and now we're holding it as support. Let's see if our candle today holds it as support. Keep in mind, I'm making this video on a Saturday, and it's being posted on a Monday. So this chart might look different on the Monday morning. So let's see if we can continue to hold this line. If we do, we could target a move up. Where would this move up take us? I would probably be in the camp we're heading to $100. Good technical level and a good psychological level. Plus, highs to the lows, fib retracement, that's right above the golden pocket. I like when factors coincide. $100 could be the next target on Avalanche if you can stay above this trend line. Now, in the event you can't, let's see if we can hold support here at around $50. If you break it, you're heading down to these lows here, which is closer to probably $35. All right, thank you for watching. I hope you found something informative today. And keep in mind, you have not seen the best setup this week. Join the Patreon if you'd like to see the best of the best. Have a good week.